Much of my journey is marked by solitude. This state of being alone is not by chance, but rather a reflection of a greater calling I have received. I was called to lead, and leadership by its very nature often requires walking solitary paths. Those who are chosen to lead inevitably find themselves separated from the masses, with the responsibility of forging new paths. If we look at the icons of history, we will see that many of them experienced profound isolation before reaching the fullness of their purpose. Elijah took refuge in a cave to hear the voice of God. Jesus withdrew to the desert to prepare for his mission. Even Gandhi spent long periods in silence and introspection. These moments of solitude were not in vain. They were essential for the growth and clarity of their missions. Hermits are powerful examples of how solitude can transform our relationship with the divine. They chose to withdraw from the world and retreat to the desert, not to escape, but in search of a deeper and more sincere connection with God. Living in complete isolation for years, these hermits teach us the value of renouncing worldly distractions, showing that true spiritual surrender is only possible when we detach ourselves from the superficialities around us. In solitude, they found an intimacy with the divine that few can reach, proving that often it is in silence and solitude that God's voice becomes clearer and more present. In this sense, solitude is not a punishment, but a conscious choice. It is the decision not to follow the current, not to conform to what is popular or easy. When everyone is around you, the temptation to get lost in the crowd is great. But by recognizing that you were created for something unique, that you carry a special mission, solitude becomes a natural consequence. This solitary journey, however, should not be feared. On the contrary, it should be embraced as a vital part of your development. If you were called to accomplish great deeds, to transform the world around you, you need to be prepared to face this less traveled road. Just as a river cuts through rock, not by its strength but by its persistence, the solitary leader shapes the future, even if their path is long and difficult. Leading is often like climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the more isolated you become. But the view from the top is incomparable. And when you reach the top, with the winds of change blowing around you, you realize that solitude was necessary to see the world from a different, higher, and clearer perspective. To truly lead, you must be willing to turn your back on the crowd and follow the call of your own soul. Only then can you blaze trails that others will one day also have the courage to follow. In my own experience, solitude has manifested in various forms throughout my journey. There were moments when I found myself distant from friends, family, and even people I once considered essential to my life. In the beginning, this distance seemed like a heavy burden, a kind of punishment for following a path that few understood. But over time, I realized that this solitude was, in fact, a disguised blessing. During these periods of isolation, I was forced to face my own inner demons, to question my motivations, and to seek answers that could only be found within myself. It was as if the silence around me amplified the inner voice that was often drowned out by the constant noise of the world. This deep introspection allowed me to discover truths about myself that I would never have accessed otherwise. I remember a specific moment when, after a series of challenges, I found myself completely alone, without a clear direction. It was there, in that apparent emptiness, that I began to feel the presence of something greater, something that guided me and gave me strength. It was as if, in the midst of that solitude, I was being prepared, refined for something greater that was yet to come. Solitude also taught me to appreciate the company of the few. I learned to value genuine connections, those that truly matter. I discovered that by distancing myself from the crowds, I opened space for deeper relationships with people who truly understand and support the mission I carry. Just as David found the strength to face Goliath after his solitary experiences as a shepherd, and as Abraham, in the silence of the starry nights, heard God's promises, I also found clarity in my mission during these moments of solitude. These personal experiences shaped me, prepared me for the challenges I face today, and gave me the resilience necessary to keep moving forward. I understood that the leader's path is often paved with stones of solitude, but these stones are essential for building a solid foundation. Each solitary step I take brings me closer to fulfilling the purpose given to me. Solitude, far from being a weakness, has become my greatest source of strength, allowing me to clearly hear the voice that guides me and confidently follow the path that has been laid out for me. The same happens with you, the chosen ones. People often distance themselves because your light exposes them in a way they don't understand. Even without knowing you deeply, they feel your energy and instinctively pull away. In relationships, this can become even more challenging, as your presence not only stimulates but also reveals hidden aspects of the people around you. All beings, including humans, are sensitive to vibrations and frequencies, and you emit a frequency that has the power to transform the world around you. Unconsciously, people pick up on this energy and may feel intimidated or uncomfortable in your presence. As you raise your vibrational frequency, you begin to see the world with new eyes, noticing details and truths that previously went unnoticed. Your tolerance for futile behaviors and negative energies decreases drastically, and you understand that your inner peace is non-negotiable. Certain people, be they friends, family, or even close partners, may no longer fit into your life if they disrupt this peace. You naturally become more selective about who you choose to share your time and energy with. Your inner circle may even shrink, but those who remain are the ones who truly respect and value your essence. This is a purification process, where you choose to keep only those who positively contribute to your spiritual journey by your side. Many people who are alone are in fact extraordinary and powerful individuals. And you, the chosen one, are powerful, but often find yourself alone because you have transcended the norms of this world. Being alone does not mean you are better or superior to others. It simply reflects the nature of your path. Your journey is about personal and spiritual growth, not about elevating yourself above anyone. The solitude you experience is a byproduct of living in alignment with your truth, not an indication of superiority. It's not about being better, but about following the purpose that has been given to you. Those who remain in your life are the ones who share the same frequency and respect what you represent. Your mission is to illuminate, not to separate. Therefore, being alone is just a necessary part of your path, not a judgment on the worth of others. Here are 5 reasons why the chosen ones often find themselves alone. 1. A unique purpose and vision. When you receive a vision, it is initially yours and no one else's. Just as Noah received the revelation to build the ark, you may find yourself alone, trying to accomplish something that others cannot understand. Noah built the ark in a time of disbelief, facing mockery and isolation. Similarly, your vision may seem incomprehensible to others, but it is precisely this uniqueness that defines your journey. You were chosen to carry a unique vision, a purpose that only you can fulfill. Joseph, the dreamer, was ridiculed by his own brothers for his dreams of leadership and greatness. They could not see what Joseph saw, and this lack of understanding led to his being sold into slavery, isolated from his family and everything he knew. However, this solitude was part of God's plan for him. preparing him for the great purpose of saving his nation during a time of famine. Like Joseph, the vision you have received may distance you from others, creating a sense of isolation because few people can truly understand or share what you see. Carrying a vision means carrying a burden that is not easy. Moses, when called to lead the people of Israel, faced immense responsibilities that isolated him from common fellowship. He not only led a nation, but also interceded for it before God, a weight that few could bear. You, like Moses, are called to lead and impact, and this mission carries with it the responsibility not only for your own life, but also for the lives of those destined to be touched by your journey. This responsibility can seem overwhelming. Moses himself climbed Mount Sinai alone to receive the laws that would guide his people, an act that required a level of total surrender and spiritual connection that few could understand. He spent 40 days in isolation, without food or water, in complete dedication to the mission entrusted to him. Similarly, your path requires deep focus, sacrifices, and immense dedication that many around you may not understand. Like Abraham, who faced the greatest test of his faith when he was willing to sacrifice his son Isaac, you too will be called to make profound sacrifices. Abraham was ready to give up what he loved most in obedience to God's purpose. This symbolizes the willingness to let go of comforts, relationships, and even personal desires to fulfill the mission given to you. This journey often requires you to distance yourself from people and situations that are not in harmony with your purpose, but it is in this process that you find the true path that has been laid out for you. The pursuit of greatness always demands discipline and commitment. Daniel, in Babylon, stood out not only for his wisdom, but also for his unwavering fidelity to his principles, even when it meant facing the lion's den. He maintained high standards, and this dedication to excellence isolated him from his peers, but also elevated him to a position of great influence. You, like Daniel, must remain firm in your standards, and this commitment can create a distance between you and those who do not share the same vision. However, it is this distance that often opens the way for the revelation of your true purpose. Solitude is not a punishment, but a tool for growth and revelation. Jesus, before beginning his ministry, spent 40 days in the desert, where he faced temptations and strengthened his spirit. It was in this isolation that he prepared for the mission that would change the world. Similarly, you will need time alone to reflect, connect with your inner self, and align with the divine. This solitude allows you to develop the clarity and strength needed to carry out your mission. It is a moment of refinement, where your vision becomes sharper and your purpose firmer. You may find yourself alone most of the time, but this solitude is not a sign of weakness. It is a necessary stage of your development. Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles, spent much of his ministry life in prisons, writing letters that would impact generations. He was often rejected, misunderstood, and left to his own devices. But he knew he was fulfilling God's will. Like Paul, you understand that solitude is a reflection of the greatness of the purpose you carry. Knowing who you are and what you have been called to do gives you the strength to move forward, even when others do not understand your journey. Solitude ultimately is a space where true revelation happens, where you connect deeply with your purpose and prepare for the greatness that awaits you. This process not only shapes who you are, but also refines the impact you will have on the world. 2. Misunderstanding and rejection. Being misunderstood and rejected can be a painful experience, but it is also a mark of those destined to make a difference in the world. Those who possess an innovative vision often struggle to be understood by those around them, precisely because they are one step ahead, envisioning solutions and possibilities that others cannot yet grasp. Moreover, when people realize that you have been chosen for something greater, it is common for jealousy to arise unexpectedly. This often irrational feeling leads people to reject you as a way of feeling superior. This behavior can come from friends, acquaintances, or colleagues. Suddenly, someone who was once close begins to act distant and cold, and you find yourself questioning if you did something wrong. The truth is, you did nothing. This rejection usually stems from the other person's insecurity and need to feel better about themselves. It's a confusing and painful behavior. One moment, everything seems fine, and the next, this person starts treating you as if they are above you, using rejection as a way to assert themselves. When you try to understand what is happening, you end up reinforcing their sense of superiority, even if it is only temporary. This type of behavior is difficult to accept because it is painful to realize that someone can act this way without any apparent reason. The Bible is full of similar stories. Think of the envy Joseph's brothers felt when they saw he was favored and had dreams that suggested greatness. They tried to get rid of him, not because of any fault of Joseph, but because they couldn't bear the thought that he was special. Another example is the relationship between Saul and David, where Saul, consumed by jealousy, repeatedly tried to harm David, even though David was loyal and dedicated. People who behave this way tend to act like emotional vampires, trying to absorb your energy to compensate for what they feel is lacking in themselves. They perceive your light, your unique energy, and even if they don't admit it, they recognize that you have something they do not. To deal with this difference, they reject you and try to drag you down so that you level with them. They want to control you, and when they realize they can't, they try to hurt you emotionally, making you feel down in the hope of bringing you down. This behavior is typical of people who manipulate others' emotions for their own benefit. They feel a kind of relief when they see you make mistakes because it helps them mask their own insecurities. However, it is crucial to remember that this rejection is not about you, but about them and their own internal conflicts. They have difficulty dealing with your success and individuality, and understanding this can help you face these difficult interactions with more calm. Knowing that this rejection is a reflection of their problems, not a measure of your worth, is essential to maintaining your inner peace and continuing forward with confidence. As a leader, a pioneer, your mission is to keep forging ahead, even if others don't understand. Over time, your courage and creativity will be recognized, and you will become a beacon of change, illuminating the world with new perspectives. 3. The need for inner healing. Being chosen often involves carrying emotional scars, often resulting from past experiences or childhood traumas that have not yet been fully overcome. These scars can create emotional barriers that make it difficult to build intimate relationships. During periods of transformation and spiritual ascension, the planet's energy often forces the chosen ones to face and heal these old wounds. During this process, it is common for memories and pains from the past to resurface, demanding that they be finally released. While this release is crucial for spiritual development, it can also be extremely difficult and lonely. The chosen tend to be very sensitive people, capable of absorbing the energies around them intensely. This sensitivity increases the need for a safe and calm environment where they can heal without external distractions. Solitude, in this context, offers the necessary space for introspection and self-knowledge, allowing them to face their own demons and transform their wounds into wisdom and resilience. During this healing period, it is common for the chosen to experience a sense of isolation, as the healing journey is deeply personal and not always understood by those around them. However, this isolation is temporary and serves to prepare the chosen for future relationships that will be healthier and more balanced. By healing their emotional wounds, They become stronger and more connected to their true essence, which will eventually attract people who are in harmony with their new energy. Therefore, the need for inner healing is a fundamental and inevitable step in the journey of the chosen. And it is one of the main reasons why many of them go through periods of solitude during this phase of their lives. 4. Right relationships. The relationships that the chosen seek do not develop quickly, and this is one of the reasons why many end up remaining alone or single. Due to their high energy and vibration, the chosen need partners who are on a similar wavelength for the relationship to thrive harmoniously. Superficial connections or relationships with people who do not share the same spiritual and emotional depth are not enough to satisfy them. The process of finding someone who truly resonates with the chosen is something that takes time to unfold. The universe needs this time to organize the right circumstances and bring a person who is at the same level of consciousness, capable of providing the necessary support, both emotional and spiritual and energetic. The search for a genuine and deep connection makes the wait difficult, but at the same time essential. During this waiting period, the chosen have the chance to focus on their own growth and development. This is a crucial moment for them to dive into self-knowledge, explore their interests, and strengthen their connection with the divine. Being alone during this time is vital for them to prepare adequately for a meaningful and balanced relationship in the future. Rushing to find a partner can lead to choices that do not meet their deep needs, resulting in unbalanced relationships. Moreover, this waiting period allows the universe to work to prepare both the chosen and the ideal partner. Both need to be ready and aligned before meeting and building a lasting and meaningful relationship. This mutual preparation process is essential to ensure that, when they finally come together, they are truly prepared to support and grow together. Therefore, patience and acceptance of this waiting period are essential for the chosen. It is important to trust that the universe is working behind the scenes, aligning the energies, and preparing the way for a relationship that truly aligns with the essence of their souls. This search for a partner with the same spiritual frequency explains why many chosen remain alone, but it also offers the hope that a deep and authentic relationship is approaching at the right time. 5. A test of faith and patience. Each day you realize that your faith and patience are tested in very concrete ways. There are times when these challenges seem unbearable, and it may even seem that you have failed. However, as written in James, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. These moments of trial are not in vain. They serve to strengthen you, building firmness and determination. The chosen, those who are called to make a difference in the world, face constant tests. These challenges often come as prolonged periods of waiting and uncertainty, moments when it seems that nothing is happening. But in reality, they are times of preparation and strengthening. During these trials, it is natural to feel alone, as if you are carrying a heavy burden with no one by your side. However, this solitude is not a punishment. It is an essential stage of the process. It is in this solitude that you find your inner strength, gain clarity about what really matters, and reaffirm your life's purpose. Just as Jesus, for the joy set before him, endured the cross, you too are called to persevere in difficult times. The perseverance you develop in these moments is what enables you to face even greater challenges in the future. Just as clinical trials determine the safety and efficacy of medications, and as math tests reveal the areas that need to be reviewed, the trials in life have a specific purpose: to test and purify your faith. Just as jewelers test the purity of gold or the authenticity of a precious stone, God uses these difficult times to refine your faith and develop in you the spiritual maturity necessary to fulfill your calling. These trials teach you patience and perseverance, shaping you into someone with firm and unwavering faith. By going through these challenges, you become stronger, more determined, and more confident in your belief in God. As chosen ones, we face trials that often test our faith and patience. These challenges may seem heavy and leave us confused, but it is important to remember that they have a greater purpose. Each obstacle we encounter along the way is an opportunity to strengthen our faith and prepare for the responsibilities that accompany our calling. The trials, whether in the form of temptations, difficulties, or adversities, are not just tests of our ability to endure. They serve to reveal and refine our character, our integrity, and our devotion. As chosen ones, we are called to remain steadfast even when situations seem unbearable. This perseverance, developed through difficulties, shapes us and strengthens us to lead and positively influence those around us. Remember, the chosen ones are not immune to difficulties. In fact, they may face more challenges precisely because of the purpose they carry. But instead of being discouraged, we should see these moments as opportunities to grow and prepare for what God has in store for us. Each trial overcome is a step towards fulfilling our purpose, enabling us to be leaders and examples of faith for others. Not all people in the Bible managed to pass the tests during times of temptation. Adam and Eve, for example, fell into temptation in the Garden of Eden, succumbing to the desire to know good and evil. The Israelites, despite witnessing many miracles, failed the tests in the wilderness at Massa and Meribah, where they doubted God's provision. Simon Peter, one of Jesus' closest disciples, repeatedly denied Christ, driven by fear and weakness in a moment of great pressure. These biblical examples remind us that temptations are real and powerful. People are tempted by their own desires and inclinations to sin. Just as Satan tempted Jesus in the desert, offering him food and earthly glory after a prolonged fast, he often attacks us at our weakest points. However, unlike many, Jesus resisted and remained faithful to his purpose. As chosen ones, we face temptations and trials that test our faith, and we must be vigilant not to fall into the enemy's traps. Recognizing our weaknesses and depending on God to overcome these challenges is essential to following the path that has been destined for us. By learning from past mistakes and strengthening our faith, we prepare to resist and grow, even in the face of the greatest trials. Therefore, my friends, it is not uncommon for the chosen to feel alone or excluded in a society that often values conformity. If you hold beliefs or visions that challenge the norm, know that this is part of your journey. Do not let loneliness bring you down. Feeling sorry for yourself will bring no benefit. Instead, take pride in having the courage to be who you truly are, in a world that often suppresses individuality. By maintaining your integrity, you will attract people and relationships that truly reflect the value of your essence. Remember that you are loved and that there are many other chosen ones who share this sense of disconnection, but are also seeking something deeper and truer. When loneliness arises, it is crucial to change your perspective. Operating from love and maintaining pride in being true to yourself is essential. Trust that the universe will provide the necessary support, as long as you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and make room for these connections to happen. By taking this step, you align with those who resonate with your mission and purpose, forming bonds that strengthen the path you have been called to walk.